The cruise industry contributes over $40 billion to the U.S. economy alone every year. Considering the global scope of the industry, many more billions are added to the global economy in markets such as Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. 2018 saw the introduction of many new groundbreaking ships that are bigger and more technologically advanced than the ships they replace. For example, the two largest cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean International, both introduced their largest cruise ships in history, the Carnival Horizon and Symphony of the Seas, which is also the largest cruise ship in the world. Industry analysts predict continued growth in the number of ships, their overall size, and the continued advancement of the technology found on board, with no sign of slowing down. The question is, why? Why are cruise ships getting bigger? To determine the why, we must look not only at the present, but also at the past to better understand the future. Ocean navigation using boats and ships has been a critical part of mankind's existence for a very long time. Early ships used a mariner's astrolabe to predict the positions of celestial bodies, such as the sun, while the compass came much later but became a staple in maritime navigation. Warships were used to protect the liquid borders of some of the wealthiest nations, as well as extend those borders to new shores. Early on, the Scandinavian Vikings were a force to be reckoned with. The longships had massive sails and long oars. Later on, the Spanish Armada and the Royal Navy were some of the most feared naval fleets of their times. As global trade and commerce rose, led by superpowers such as England, France, and Spain, and companies such as the Dutch East India Company, valuable merchandise and the safe passage of passengers and crew to new lands needed protection and oversight. This abundant global trade connected the continents of Europe, Africa, Asia, and eventually North and South America in ways not thought possible. Fast forward to the 19th and 20th centuries, naval and merchant ships got bigger, and as the United States and Great Britain pushed to the fore of the world order, more modern shipbuilding methods and new technologies making ships faster created a new class of ship, the ocean liner. Notable companies such as Cunard and White Star Line built the largest and fastest ships known to man. The Titanic, Lusitania, RMS Queen Mary, SS United States, and many more were responsible for transporting millions of people primarily across the Atlantic and other high-traffic routes around the world. They did so in style and with speed. This was important because there was no other way to travel intercontinentally en masse. That is, until the 1960s. Ocean liners continued to stay in service, but as commercial flying became more affordable for the common person, the number of people choosing to travel by ocean liner dwindled until the industry was only a shadow of its former self. People from all over the world could now visit the places they could only dream of, getting there in hours instead of days, saving money in the process. Civil aviation took root and changed the very fabric of global trade and transportation. Ocean liners slowly faded to the background, paving the way for a new type of ocean vessel, the modern cruise ship. As people's lives became more and more fast-paced, they turned back to a mode of transportation they had long forgot, the ship. Instead of using ships as a means of transport, however, they began to use them for leisure. Yes, cruise ships became a popular option for relaxing vacations, taking tourists all across the globe to countries and regions that were for many years inaccessible to the majority of people. As the industry continued to grow, the technology to build the ships did too. While cruise ship building is limited to a few countries such as Germany and Italy, the technology used to build and operate them continues to evolve at a rapid pace. In 1997, one of the largest cruise ships ever built was completed. The 100,000-ton Carnival Destiny was groundbreaking and is considered by many to be one of the forefathers of the modern cruise ships, as it was the first one to exceed the 100,000-ton threshold. Features like expansive pool decks, grand dining rooms, nude sun decks, bars, and casinos gave people the opportunity to have a fun vacation on their terms. 2 decades later, the largest cruise ship in history, Symphony of the Seas, at 228,000 tons, was completed. For reference, the Titanic was only 46,000 tons with a breadth of 28.1 meters and a draught of only 10.5 meters, a very small footprint by today's standards. In the decades since the 1990s, the world's leading cruise lines have built and are building larger cruise ships. There are 3 main reasons why this is the trend and will continue to be the case for the foreseeable future. The first reason is technology. Shipbuilders are using new shipbuilding technologies and methods to complete these massive ships in less time and at a lower cost. Why is this important? The faster a shipyard can build a quality ship, the sooner it can get started on the next one. The global cruise ship order book is on order until 2027. That doesn't seem like a lot until you realize it takes over 3 years to design, build, and test a cruise ship, and that there are over 106 ships waiting to be built, and there is a need for more. The second reason is demand. As of 2018, there are about 500,000 berths in the entire cruise industry. A berth represents 1 passenger. In other words, combined, all cruise ships in the world have a capacity of 500,000 people. In contrast, worldwide hotels have a capacity for about 70 million people globally. The cruise industry is attempting to expand their passenger capacity, and they believe the best and quickest way to meet this goal is to build bigger ships, capable of holding more people. The third reason are economics. Economically, 1 ship that holds more people will be cheaper to run than 3 or 4 ships holding the same amount of people, because then you'd have 3 times the operating cost per passenger. In addition, modern fuels such as LNG, liquefied natural gas, and fuel cell technology make ships more fuel efficient. Onboard waste and operations management systems yield more efficient returns and healthier revenues. In addition, ports around the world are upgrading their infrastructure to accommodate the enormous cruise ships, which means more people flowing through their countries, spending and propping up their economies. Industry insiders and analysts expect these trends will continue, and if history is any indication of what we'll see going forward, cruise ships, like ocean liners of the past, will continue getting bigger and bigger for the foreseeable future.